Okay. Well, I feel particularly motivated and excited to welcome you all to Director School today. I think that I wanted Director School so bad because I love this connectivity. And I love it in the morning because I'm a person. And so I've just been muted.
No, you're not. You're not muted.
Okay. Um, I love connectivity. I did the Strength Finder test, and my top strength was empathy. My second strength was connectivity. My third strength was relator. The fourth was strategic, and the last one is woo. And so anyway, when you do that Strength Finder test, you can go to www.strengthfinder.com and find out your strengths and encourage your team to do that, because what you're going to find out is that when you combine these strengths together, you're going to build a really strong team because you're going to find out what they're good at. So when Kedzie knows that I am empathetic first and foremost and that I'm a connector, that's empathy drew me to want to do Director School, because I was like, oh, I want everybody to have this connectivity that wants it and that needs it. And so I love that John has taken the bull by the horns and he's helping. And last week's call with Alfred was so wonderful. You'll be getting that recording. You just are requested and urged and insisted that you don't post it to social media. Now this one we can. John is recording it, he'll edit it, and so we want to welcome him. He is going to be talking to all of us today and inspiring us, as well as Dave Stapp. Dave Stapp is going to be talking about raising the vibration in your life to joy and how you can have more joy through GIA and how you can have it through the GIA products and how he's done it in his life. I've been really craving hearing from you, Dave, so I'm excited that you're here as well. For all of us who are excited about the abundance, the A in GIA, the abundance, that we're going to be learning from John how to create a 60K income each year. Now, you may go on and make this your full-time job, your mainstay, or this may be starting out as a multiple stream of income, another stream of income into addition to what you're doing. That's how it started for me. And now it has become a cause. Last night we had Generation Zapped. I've been following up with some of the members on my team, with Kayleen, with a woman who was going to order $250, and we were able to assist her in understanding the beautiful 30% discount that she can get. And she went ahead and ordered, she's ordering today a $1,000 manager kit. And so how to do that, how to close sales, and that's where I love how to close a sale and how to help people to know what they can bump it up to and how they can save by doing that. And so if there's time at the end, I'll share more about that. But we want to go directly in now to John with 60K.
Well, I thought we'd start with Dave today, so we can all raise our vibration. And so then when we start to talk about 60K, we're in the right vibration about it. I got a product story. No, I think I'll wait on that. Oh, no, I have a product story. And it's about the pendant and edge. I take edge every day, and I wear my pendant all the time. And about 2 days ago, I lost my cell phone. That is a tester. Oh my gosh, a whole day without a cell phone. Try it. Oh, I get goosebumps just feeling it. But let me tell you, products work. I'm doing great. I haven't figured out how I'm going to take care of it yet, but I'm on it. So I think, Dave, do you mind if we start with you, Dave? You feel good about that? And then from there, we'll go to the 60K, and I'm sure we'll have time at the end to get back to you, Karen, because I really want to hear what you have to say about that. So Dave, let's take it away.
Okay, I'm unmuted. There we go. Yeah, I'm great with that, John. Not totally being sure of the format. I figured an hour would work. You guys need more time than that? For me, an hour, right?
No, you're not really serious, all right?
No, I'm not. But thank you for asking me on, Karen. I do appreciate it. I like to share. And what I thought I'd start out with is just a real brief, who am I, why am I doing GIA? So you guys can know why I'm so passionate about this business, about this technology. About 13 years ago, gosh, it seems like, I owned an energetic wellness center. I got into the energy world. I actually wanted to be a veterinarian, but I don't do blood. Whenever I see blood, I just go, bam, on the floor. It just doesn't work for me. So I got into the energetic world, became an energetic biofeedback therapist, which is just a big name for working with a body's energetic functions. And Kebra and I actually opened up an energetic wellness center, which is a wellness center that is based on energetic therapies. Had a very good friend of mine approach me from Canada about these products and technologies. And I actually put her off for an entire year because it just wasn't making sense to me. And I get hit by a lot of products every single day until she finally said the magic word. Dave, in your practice, aren't you seeing cell walls are hardening? Aren't you seeing malnutrition? And aren't you seeing dehydration in all of your clients, in a majority of your clients? And bingo, I said, yeah, that's so strange. I don't know why, but I was seeing the frequency of cell walls hardening, malnutrition, no matter what kind of good supplements my clients were saying they were taking, and dehydration, no matter how much water they were drinking. And she said, well, have you ever studied the effects of what electrical pollution is doing to the body? And I said, no, I had no idea at the time. So I, with information from her, studied it, found out that cell walls hardening is a response, a defense response that is happening because of electrical pollution. So dove in, spent $2,000 getting the products, getting to know the technology, started getting my clients to use it. We started seeing, and we don't ever make medical claims, but I just started seeing a reversal of all those issues energetically in my clients. The cell walls were the hardening issues were going away. Their absorption factors were raising. Issues like that were diagnosed like chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, we don't make medical claims, but my clients that had those conditions were getting better. Phenomenal. So I'm sold. I'm sold on the technology and always will be. Wait till 5G comes out and we see what happens, because I see it at the cellular level. What I wanted to share with you today, speaking of I like to work in the world of energy, that as we do know, and it's been proven, that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just is. It always is. And it follows that everything in its original state is energetic. So simply choosing the thoughts that put you into a harmonious vibration will create and bring to you what you desire. What you seek is actually seeking you. I mean, when you really think about it, everything has already been created. When you adopt this philosophy, and it has been proven that energy being here, already existing, what we have to do is just, after we've figured out what we desire, is we have to raise our vibration with our thoughts into a harmonious, compatible frequency with what you desire. And it starts manifesting in the physical world. What I'd like to do, I know you've heard my story about the GIA Tournament Challenge, and I'll apologize in advance for the very amateurish quality of the video, but if I have 10 minutes to be able to show this video, I couldn't cut it down. I kept cutting it down, but it's about 10 minutes. I want to make a point with it when I'm done. So I'm going to share my screen and see if I can do this thing the right way. Okay, share screen. Okay. And I want to, where are the buttons, John, that says, Okay, I don't want to do that yet.
They're at the bottom left of that screen before you press share.
Okay, let me go back to stop share. And I did this last night and it worked. Okay, I'm at the bottom. I see mute.
Bottom left of the share screen.
Oh, of the share screen. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, you're right. Thank you. That and that. Okay, then I'm good. Okay. So, and as I'll say on the video, sometimes the audio goes a little weak, so you got to really listen. And some of the pictures are blurry. It's just the way it is. But capture the message that I'm really trying to give. And this is going to horrify me because I'm exposing myself, but I'm exposing myself for the better of all of us. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. Hi, this is Dave Stapp, one-star presidential director from Sonora, California. What? Oh, shoot. There I go again. Did I just say one-star presidential director? Ever since I've created this new vision of myself, I can't stop thinking about being a one-star presidential director. Let me start over. This is Dave Stapp, presidential director from GIA Wellness, located in Sonora, California. You're probably looking at this photo thinking, I did a pretty good job with my body transformation, but it's not me. But it is how I see myself. Now, here's where I got to get real with you and let you know what has happened to me over the past few years. Now, this is going to be horrifying for me, absolutely horrifying. I never, ever thought I would ever do anything like this. But I'm going to show you a photo of me at my very worst shape. Ouch. Yep. Yep, that was me, all 185.6 pounds, the biggest I have ever gotten. How did I get there? Hi. Wow, that was painful. But I had lost my focus. I had lost the picture of who I really was. And as a matter of fact, this guy right here, this is who I picture myself as, my body morphology. I put this guy on my bathroom mirror and I look at it every day. And what happened is I eventually put it in my bathroom drawer because I didn't want to disappoint myself every day. It was an interesting process, watching myself grow, and sometimes it felt like on a daily basis. There were times when I would feel thoughts coming up saying, I wonder how big I'm going to allow myself to get. I grew more and more uncomfortable with myself as I just couldn't get myself out of this pattern of eating junk food. And the more junk food I ate, the more I wouldn't even work out because I'd come up with the excuse that my body was hurting too much. Well, I was eating junk food and sugar, and that's what helps to hurt your body. Okay, enough of the negative. What caused me to go from fat to fit in 60 days? Yep, 60 days. I know the Transformation Challenge was a 90-day program, but I did it in 60 days. I was still in a funk after the first of the year. I had been in a funk for a while, and I got sick. I got really, really sick. I had 3 weeks where I was coughing so much that at the end of that 3 weeks, I felt like I had the beginnings of a six-pack. I went from a kegger to a six-pack. That's the way it kind of started to feel. I even lost a couple of pounds. I was drinking lots of eye water. So I thought, last week of January, I can get in on that challenge. So I decided to throw my hat in the ring and try the Transformation Challenge. Besides the GIA Trim shakes, the NutriGIA supplements, cleanse, and curve in the afternoon when I had those cravings, and lots of eye water, I decided to eat clean.
I ate no processed foods, very little sugar, minimal carbs, and no processed foods. I think I said that. And lots of proteins and fresh vegetables. I started my workouts very slow. I did some sit-ups, I did some push-ups, I did some planks for core work, and then I increased my intensity by doing hanging leg lifts, some crunches, some vibration platform work, and then I increased my intensity by doing some power walking on the treadmill. But I didn't do anything too strenuous because my pain level in my body was still very difficult at times. However, what I've learned and what I believe is more important than the weight I've lost and how fit I feel right now is knowing what drove me to sacrifice, what pushes me to just say no, and what made me pass on the cravings of those bad, yummy foods. It's the fact that I had my eye on the prize. I wanted to win the challenge. I'm very competitive by nature. And besides being competitive with others, I'm very, very competitive with myself. I found that when I was out and about, the cravings didn't go away. My desire for that crap didn't go away. I'd be driving by a Burger King and I'd want to pull in and get one of those real yummy, bad for you, flame broiled burgers with fries and Coke. And then a little voice would come into my head saying, that moment of perceived pleasure is just not worth it. My eye went directly back to the prize. When I was finished with a long day, and I just wanted to sit and relax and eat a big bowl of popcorn, because I love popcorn, I'd think of the prize and how it would feel to win. Yeah, kind of like that. It's way beyond what mere words can express. Emotions, feelings are powerful. They drive your emotional body. Thoughts empower your emotional body. And so I couldn't help think about my GIA business when I'd have these food challenges. I'd think, I've got to get my GIA vision this laser focused and know what the prize is for me in GIA. Now, I've done vision boards before. And as a matter of fact, I carry one in my car and I carry one in my wallet. But this is a new focus. It's a new level, a knowing that I must be laser sharp in my focus so that I am taking time creating it, knowing that what I finish with will be the fuel on the fire of my desire. So, you want to see the new old me, which is the new me, but I'm still old, but it's still me. Okay, that's the new me. I'm excited about having lost over 5 inches on my belly button. I'm wearing now size 32 pants. I'm excited about that. My statistics, I'm down 20 pounds. I'm down 7.5% body fat. Being almost 66 years old, my muscle's hard to come by, so being up almost 4% muscle, I'm happy about that. My cellular age is down 10 years. I'm happy about that. And heart attack fat, visceral fat is down. So what's my takeaway? You have got to have a why that is so compelling that it empowers you to overcome obstacles as they arise. You have got to be so laser focused on what the outcome feels like that you've experienced it way before you've actually manifested. I knew what it felt like to drive that car because I went and drove one. Drove one. I know what it will be like to accomplish my GIA goals because I visualize them every day.
I feel the freedom my goals afford me. I love the ability to do what I like, when I like, and with whomever I choose to like it with, regardless of cost, because I know it's already available to me. I'm simply proceeding towards its manifestation in my life. As I said, taking on the GIA Trim Challenge has done more for me than regaining a leaner, healthier body. It has proven to me that setting a goal, valuing the rewards that it will bring, and holding on to my intention with laser focus is taking me ever closer to fully manifesting that same level of success in my GIA business. I will see you all at the September event.
It's going to be crazy good.
Woo! That was awesome.
You are so creative.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome. I loved it. I love you, Dave. Well, that was just,
Dave is muted.
he's now unmuted.
Oh,
He's now unmuted.
okay. All right. So all that I was just saying, you didn't hear me. Okay, good. Anyway, that was, semi horrifying for me because, I'm just exposing myself. But, the message I want to absolutely get across, besides being so laser focused with your vision, is that being energetic beings, it's all about our thoughts. It's all about our thoughts. We can, when we worry and when we're doubtful, that goes into our subconscious just as quickly and just as much as does when we're working on the positive side. So what we have got to do is just be very aware of our thoughts on a constant basis. And I want to share a really, really quick little story. I was sitting in the hot tub the other night with Kebra, and we're looking at a piece of property. We're trying to sell our house. It's too big. It's a nice big custom home, and we need to scale down. We found a house, just a little tiny 2-bedroom, 1-bath, concrete block house that I have purchased these in the past, and we stucco them. We make them look really nice and custom. Sitting in the hot tub, and we're talking about it. And the big issue with this house is it's an estate sale. So what they're having to do is open it up, and they're not even going to look at offers until July 15th. What that means is they're just trying to get as much as possible for the estate. And I'm sitting there in the hot tub going, oh, they're going to have so many offers. It's going to sell higher than asking price. We're going to have to put, an additional $50,000 into it to make it what we want, add another bathroom and really trick it out. And I'm being all negative and just not going to happen. And Kebra said, who are you? Do you remember what our philosophy is? What if? What if you fell in love with it? And what if you started visualizing? And what if you did all the things that you talk about? Oh, that, right? Okay, so a little slap in the face and a shift. And the shift is awareness that, yeah, I was being negative. Yeah, I was allowing those voices to give me all of what the physical world shows us. The physical world shows us what our past thoughts have been like. All right, so if you haven't manifested enough things, don't worry about what you've been thinking about. Let's think about what we are thinking about right now. So we shifted, made an appointment with the custom contractor that has worked with me on past block houses, got out there yesterday and just started putting this thing together. So the key factor that I want to leave you with is not just making the shift, but what's really important is to know and to expect. Those are important words, to know and to expect the results, because, right, everything's been created. All we have to do is raise our vibration to match the level of the what we desire, because it's all frequency based and it's all comes from our thoughts. So catch the negative thoughts, change them, have your affirmations, that's how you change them. Be real clear about where you're going, be clear about your goals, visualize. You got to have them, you got to have visual. When I got my car, I knew exactly what it looked like. When I did the GIA challenge, I knew what I could do. I knew that I could scale back down. So that's the bottom line. That the challenge is to reach a stage in your mental development where you don't just believe that your image of abundance will manifest in a physical form, but to actually know that it will. Begin to expect the physical expression of your wealth. And that's what I want to throw out there, folks, is remember that what shows up in our physical world right now is just what you've been thinking about in the past. Take today, become aware of what your thoughts are, and change them. And you change them with your affirmations. That's what I got.
Okay, Dave.
That was beautiful and motivational and exciting. Is there a way we can get that video from you, Dave?
Oh, I know, my God. Let me think about that, because it's a real personal. Well, shoot, you've got it now. It's recorded on here. Yeah, whatever.
It is so fun and motivational and just exciting.
Dave, let me ask you a question, if it's okay. So here's where what I feel is that you came to a choice. Your choice was stay in the comfort zone, which was 80 plus, eating and doing all the things you wanted to do, making the choice now to do something different that was going to take a lot of work. And I feel like as I think about GIA, it's kind of like that for all of us, is that most of us are in a comfort zone. We have a job, we have a life, and then GIA comes along as something extra, and I feel it's almost the same thing. We have to make a decision at some point that the comfort zone isn't the place to be. How did that come into being?
That's a real key factor there, because one of the comments that Kevin made, which was just so laser focused, pinpoint, she said, well, Dave, the car, you manifested the car, you knew how to do that. You manifested your weight loss, you knew how to do that. Those weren't real stretches for you, which was true. Really manifesting things like your abundant life can be out of your comfort zone, because you have these voices that say, you're going to have all these offers coming in and stuff. No, raise that vibration. So it is a choice, John, and the choice comes from being aware of what the negative voices say and being totally clear about where you're going to go. So that's the choice. The choice is spend the time to be clear about the goal, because we think in visual thoughts. When I say think of something, think of your front door. You're not thinking of words like, oh, well, it's red and it's got this. You see it. You got to see your future.
Anybody have a question for Dave? Just unmute and come on. Any thoughts or ideas about what he just went over?
I just have a huge round of applause. I love that approach, the raising your vibration to life, the whole thought about thinking and your mental processes and seeing what you really want. And I loved your Burger King story, because it just made you so real to me, and passing and still feeling the urge. I think sometimes we wait until the urge is gone. And what I just learned is, no, you feel the urge and you deny it anyway, because you're keeping that focus of what you want more, the greater than, the better than, the best than.
That's exactly it, because it's too easy to give in to stuff. And what's bigger, What's bigger, your goals, your focus, or the other stuff? So the other stuff's comfortable, but reach and grow.
Honest, it's like we have many Burger King moments in our lives, just the way we want to spend our time. So you can take that Burger King thought and apply it to more than food. It's, what do I want to do with my time right now that's going to increase my best than and my best outcomes? So I love this. I love your sharing. I love that we're together on Fridays so that we can be motivated by the great minds that are achieving success in GIA. Wonderful.
So I'd love to, that's so beautiful. I'd love to also identify the piece of your story in detail that you told step by step. We're always talking and networking in any business about action steps. You know, what are we doing with our time? Where are we spending most of our time? And the way you described, you know, you didn't want to hurt yourself, so you started slowly, what you could handle, but you knew that you were going to up your game. You knew that you were going to get used to that level and then want to do more and more and more. And I think in networking in particular, people say, oh, I did this much, now I can coast for the rest of the month. Or, you know, things like that, where we give ourselves so many passes that we don't do what you're describing you continuously did, which was adding on. And you saw a larger goal than even the daily increase of activities. The goal was larger than those daily increases. So in your story, the way I was feeling it, that the increases were not that much, because I remember when I used to be an on-the-road bicycler. I would do here I am in the East Coast. In the East Coast season, from May to October, I would do 3,000 miles on a bicycle over the road. And I got in such incredible shape that it would take me 5 miles of pedaling in order to get in the zone, in order to feel warmed up. 5 miles. People don't even do that for a regular bike ride, right? But it would take my body that long to go, okay, and then not have those head games going, oh, it hurts, oh, you should turn back, oh, you know, all that junk. It would take 5 miles, and all of a sudden, poof, you'd hit that zone and you'd go for 100 miles. How did 5 miles feel so painful and yet 100 miles felt so great, right? How does that happen? And that's what your story was telling me, is that you added incrementally every day or every week or whatever your pattern was to your action steps. You added action steps and you reached your goal.
Well, thanks, Kezzy. I don't know about 100 miles from me. That would be pretty painful. But I love Dave's story, and I appreciate him for sharing it, but I want to show you the real reason why he went on the diet. Let me see if I can bring it up here. So this is the real reason. It's so that he could fit into this dress. So there you go. I'm sorry, Dave. I may try to edit this out of the whole director school today, but
John, that's when I was at part of my worst too. So hey, now I'm ready to go.
okay, so we got to tell them what that was. We had a costume party at one of our, was it last year, Dave?
Yeah. Was it? I've lost time. Yeah, I think it was.
Kayleen just said, "Yikes! Oh my gosh." Well, I'm sorry I showed that, but I was compelled to do it. All right, Dave, great job. I appreciate you for doing that and telling your story. And you know, it kind of reminded me of the story, my GIA story. I don't think I've told it very often, but it was this very, very similar situation, from going from the comfort zone to making that decision. And for me, what happened is that I was comfortable in a network marketing company that I'd been with for 12 years. And GIA came along, and I had to make a big decision, almost like yours, Dave, is that I saw GIA and I saw the future, and I just loved the idea about where it was going. And so I had to make the decision to give one up to do the other. So I gave up that cushy comfort zone and left it all behind, left all the people behind, and started with GIA at 0. And I was totally scared to death. But fortunately, I had some experience in network marketing, but I had all the things that you were talking about today. I visualized where I was going. I put the pedal to the metal. I made that decision. I burned the bridges. I created affirmations and I created the board so I could see the future. And then I set a huge goal of reaching the top level in the company in the first month. Now that may sound crazy, but that was just the way I had to do it in my own mind, so that I would put the time in like you did for your 60-day program. Mine was a 30-day program, all out massive action. Every single day I got up in the morning and I walked and did my affirmations. There wasn't a moment that I wasn't seeing the future, seeing where, well, basically where we are today, where the company was going. Remember, it started at 0. So it's making that decision and then getting out of the comfort zone. That's the killer, I think, of most progress, is the comfort zone. It's just so easy to stay there. But fortunately, every once in a while, things come along that wake us up, and I'm hoping that as people watch this director school today, that this is one of those moments that if you can just break free of the comfort zone, break through who knows what you might be able to do with your life as you use our products and take this opportunity and run with it. So with that, it kind of leads me into the section that I'm going to do today. And I'm going to talk about how to create a 60K income. I know that when we join GIA, we see that there are people that are, some people are doing it full time and they're creating an income, but it's hard to put all the pieces together about how to get to that, I think, for people. And usually that will come later. It's almost like you get there, then you realize how you get there. You don't visualize. So what I wanted to do today is paint the picture of what it looks like, what your organization might look like as you create a 60K income with GIA. And I'll open it up for questions. And as I go along, if you have a question, like as I'm doing this, don't hesitate to jump in and ask it. You just have to unmute yourself and then mute yourself when we're done. Okay, let's bring this up today. Ooh, okay. Give it a second. Okay. Kezi, can you unmute and tell me what you see?
I see abundance plan pathways to 60K.
Okay, and do you see all the pictures of everybody on the right or left, wherever they are?
Of us, you mean?
Yeah.
I see them on my iPad on the bottom.
Okay, I just didn't want that to get in the way. I'm going to minimize mine so I can't see you guys. And I can just do that. Maybe not. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, and since it's recorded here today, you can go back and take a look at it. And this is all about, I call it the pathway to 60K. And it's something to visualize, it's something to plan for, and I'm going to show you some of the building blocks of how to create a 60K income, and we're going to just dive right into it here. All right, so we're going to start with taking a look at the estimated income for the different ranks that we have in the company. And you can see here I started with manager. That's pretty much where probably the majority of people start or get to fairly quickly. And then it goes all the way up to 2-star presidential director. And just in case you didn't know, we don't have any 2-star presidential directors yet. But Dave, after seeing your program today, there's no reason why you should not be there pretty darn quickly. Okay, so it starts at manager. The average income for manager is between 15 and 200. Then you can see the rest of junior directors between 3 and 1,000. I highlight the director level because it's a pretty significant place to get to. And of course, we're doing director school today to help people to get to director, maintain director, and of course, then move on from that. The reason why I think director is so important because the income, first of all, there's somebody that's unmuted out there. Could you check it out and see if you can yourself, because I can't do it from here. The director is really important because the income begins to be somewhat significant. And also the car program kicks in. Now, you may not be a car person like Dave, but let me tell you, when the company helps you to get a really nice car and they pay for it, it's pretty amazing. In fact, Kezi, can you unmute and just tell people what that meant to you?
Well, I did get honorable mention in the GeoTrim challenge because it's not only all about weight loss, for getting my GIA bonus, my car bonus from GIA. What it means to me was big because my car was 15 years old, and so it was quite a big step. And I've actually gained not only people observing it and saying, "Wow, where'd you get that car? That's such a nice car," but now they've wanted to know what I do. And I've known some of these people for years and they never really asked, or I'm not saying they never cared, but they just never got into that conversation. And so it's meant a lot to me, not only from a pure entrepreneurial side, but also an emotional side because of a lot of hard work and the support of my team. So it's a real combination of a lot of things, and it feels just so good to be driving around in a car that's paid for by GIA.
And I think a lot of people feel the same way, even people who aren't, they're not driven by getting a car, but when it happens, you realize how beneficial it can be, not only from your own personal point of view, but from a business point of view. Sue Johnson, she got her first GIA car yesterday, and I can already hear in her voice the difference in how the belief and the posture that she has driving around her GIA car. And it's pretty darn amazing. So it's important for you to get to director from a business point of view, get to director as soon as you can, and then get on the car program as soon as you can so that you can be the example for the rest of your organization. That's really a key idea. Okay, so now just moving up, you can see what the average incomes are between the different levels. And you'll notice that there's a pretty big wide range of incomes. Like, for example, presidential director can go from $3,500 to $15,000. And the reason why we see that is because you can get to presidential director and your volume can be just the minimum to get to presidential director. And if you were just to hit the minimum, your income would probably be around $3,500. But as your organization grows at presidential director and you start adding thousands of people and you're still at that level, your income can go as high as $15,000. So what I'm trying to say is this is just the range. There's a low end and a high range based on the volume. All right, any questions on that before I go? Should be pretty simple. Okay, here we go. Okay, so these are some definitions that I wanted to use today. Volume. Volume is created by retail customer sales, wholesale customers, and GIA consultants. So the volume that a retail customer creates is volume that they're going to be counting for your income. Wholesale customers, so all the volume is volume. Group volume is volume created within the first 4 levels used to determine the monthly rank achievement. And we're going to talk about compression and what this all means, because this is an important idea for your future. Organizational volume is volume that's created by the entire organization. Understandable, Kessie? Did I miss anything?
No, you're good.
Okay, good, thanks. I'll just check back with you just because I want to make sure that we cover it all. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to talk about the building blocks, the abundance plan building blocks, and it starts over here on the left with manager. Manager is a key building block, and let me just change that. Qualified managers are key building blocks to our GIA compensation plan. And a qualified manager is anybody who accumulates $1,000 in group volume and has $100 in ARO. If that happens in a month, then they are a qualified manager. If either one of those situations is not happening, then they won't be a qualified manager. They'll still be a manager if that's what they've already achieved, but they'll come in at the end of the month as a senior consultant or a consultant. Now, I know what you're thinking. Some of you are saying, well, you don't have to be on ARO, and that's true. So you could qualify as a manager if you had $1,000 of group volume and you had a $150 order on your ID number. So if a customer were to order $150, or if you were to purchase on your number personally $150, you can qualify at manager that way. We don't suggest that you do that because, first of all, you save quite a bit by being on automatic reorder, but there's always that chance that you would forget to do that. And if you forget to do that, you're not going to be happy because you're not going to get paid your commission. Anybody out there? I hear somebody?
I was going to say, and if you are maintaining manager in general, and manager is anywhere from $1,000 to $4,999, right? You will be earning money, and your ARO is going to be more than paid for every month.
Right. Good point. Let me see if I can get this out of my way here. I just have a lot on my screen. I'm trying to get, there we go. Okay, so a manager is a building block for building your organization. In fact, if you look over to the right, when you have sponsored 3 manager legs and I'm going to use the term manager legs because that's important. When you have 3 manager legs and then you accumulate a volume of $7,500 in a single month and you're on automatic reorder, you will be a qualified director. So 3 managers, in essence, 3 manager legs can create a director. I know that there's a note at the bottom of this that it says the first time qualification to get to director is 10,000 in volume. So some of you I know on here have never reached director, so to get there, what you'll have to do is have 3 qualified manager legs, and that means that within your first 4 levels, in 3 different legs, somebody is qualified as a manager. You'll have to accumulate $10,000 in group volume and then be on automatic reorder for $100. That's when you become a director. So you can see that the building blocks to get to director, really the building blocks for everything are managers. That's really the important part of this. Kedzie, anything?
Nope, good.
Good. Okay, so now we're going to move on to more building blocks. This is the senior director level, and you can see again that the building blocks for senior director are managers also. In this case, to become or to qualify as an ongoing senior director, you have to have 5 manager qualified legs, 5 of them. You have to have $15,000 in volume accumulated in the first 4 levels of your organization and be on $100 ARO. And when you do that, you will qualify at senior director. Again, the building blocks are managers. Now, one of these managers could be a director and count as one of those building blocks. But the bottom line is it's really these qualified manager legs that make everything happen. Remember, they create directors and they create senior directors. You'll note at the bottom, the note at the bottom says if you are going to achieve this for the first time, you have to do $20,000 in volume and have the 5 qualified legs and be on automatic reorder. And the reason we're doing that is that we're asking people to stretch to get there. And then after they reach that level, they kind of make the qualification a little bit easier, $5,000 less for the rest of your career to qualify at this level. Okay, now this is important. Kedzie, can you see my whole screen? I've got stuff blocking it from me, but you can see it, right?
Yes, and there's a line and there's below the 4th level line, yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I've been talking about qualified legs. And the way that they create, let me put it this way, the way that they look at, what they look at to get your qualification is the first 4 levels. So all the volume that's in the first 4 levels, that's you and then the people below you, 4 levels down, they take a look at that total volume, and that's where they determine what rank you will be for the month. So for example, the computer would take a look at your organization and they would look at the first 4 levels, and if the first 4 levels added up to $10,000 in volume, and at the same time if you had 3 manager legs and you were on automatic reorder, you would be qualified as a director. So the key thing here is I wanted to show is that there's 4 levels where they go and they get the volume, and that's called group volume. The volume below that, when you look at it in total, like as we are here, that's your group volume. So your 4-level group, I'm sorry, that's your organizational volume. So your 4-level group volume could be 10,000, but your organizational volume could be 15,000. This is really important as you start to learn the compensation plan. Now I'm going to show you.
John, can I ask just a quick question?
Absolutely.
The person in my 4th level, their volume though would include what's underneath him or her, correct?
That's a great question. I think it's an important one. So can you see my pointer on this one?
Yes.
Okay, my pointer is on someone who's on your 4th level, and now they have a group below them that's creating volume. The volume that the company is going to look at for you is going to be only their volume. It's not going to count the volume below that for you. So
their front level is what you mean.
It's like whatever they ordered basically. So if they're only on automatic reorder, that's what's going to be counted here.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, so now I want to show you a senior director and what it might look like. And this is a really important concept for us. And this is called, well, I call it roll up. where things roll up, and that I can't see what I wrote up here. Hold on a minute. It's crazy. I've got so much stuff up. Okay, so we call it compression, and I call it roll up. So here's how it works. Now remember, they look at your first 4 levels, and to become a senior, you have to have five manager legs. 5 manager legs or above. And so if you look at the first 4 levels of this example, we have a manager leg on the far left, that's 1. And then in the first 4 levels, we have a manager leg at the top there where my cursor is. And then we have another one that's kind of in the middle of the group there, 3rd level down. So in essence, there's only 3 in this example, if you look at it the way I've just explained it before. But because the company has installed something what I call roll-up or compression, the company will look for, or the computer will look for qualified managers or above below this level. And so I'm going to give you an example. So here we have senior director, and they sponsored someone right here who's not active. So there's 0 volume here. They joined, and they're just not doing anything. And so they don't count that as a level in this leg. And so by not counting this, then everything, what I call it roll up, or it compresses up. And so this director down here now moves up to be on the 4th level because this person here is not doing anything. That's pretty cool. And so that means as you grow your organization, you're going to have some people doing nothing, some people are doing a little, but if they're not qualifying, then the computer will look for other qualified people to move them up into your first 4 levels, to count for your volume qualification and to count for the number of legs that you need to have at each level. And you can see over on the far right, this has happened again. So there's 2 people in this line who are doing nothing. The computer automatically puts this manager up in the first 4 levels, and then this person becomes qualified as a senior director. That's a pretty cool thing. And I think what I love about it here also is realize that while you're sponsoring people, they don't have to be the ones who are your qualifying legs. It's the people that they sponsor and the people that they might sponsor. So someone down 4 levels, 5 levels, 6 levels could end up being that important qualifying person for you. And believe me, as your organization grows, this becomes more and more like it is. It's almost the norm where people are qualifying way below, and the way that it's compressing helps you to qualify at your levels. Now, I know this may seem confusing looking at it the first time, but if you watch this again, I think you'll be able to see that. So let me open up, and any questions or anybody want to help me qualify something I didn't do a good job on?
John, and just to clarify, if one leg has 2 managers, only the first one will count.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Good question. Anybody else? David?
I've got a question for you, John.
Okay.
Karen, and my question is, to re-qualify at senior director, are these the requals too? Is it
still yep.
2,000 volume in the first 4 levels with 5 qualified managers?
Yeah, this is the requalification. If you're going to do qualifications for the first time, it's $20,000 in volume. So it's a little bit harder to qualify the first time, and then they relax the qualifications after that. Good point.
And John, on that, when we first qualify, do these managers have to be frontline, or we still are given 4 levels?
Yes, 4 levels. They don't have to be frontline. And as you start to really understand this business, you'll understand how really critical that is. Because if they all had to be people that you sponsored personally, that would be so hard. Now, in this sense, we have a lot of help finding those people who become more serious about doing the GIA business. And that's how I look at how my organization works. I have a lot of people in my organization who are out there searching for that next person who would be serious about creating a second income or even a new career with GIA. So it doesn't depend on me anymore to go find those people. We're working together to do that.
And John, we have a bonus tied to that idea, which is the second half of our quick start.
Yes.
When we help somebody find somebody within their first 30 days.
That's correct. Good point. Okay, I'm going to move on. Any other questions before I move on to the next slide?
John, could you explain the leadership bonuses, the whole generational versus legs? I'm not sure I fully understand that. Paid on generations is when it says.
Okay. Let's see if there's a simple way to do that. Okay. So leadership bonus, I guess I could do it here. So as a manager, you join as a manager, and then you have, like Kedzie said, you can go from a manager to junior director, and what you're going to be earning are what you're finding on your first 3 levels. For some, it's 8%. For some, it's 10. For some, on the second level, it could be 5, or it could be 9 or 7, and then the third level is 5 to 7, depending on whether you've earned the 10% bonus for your first level. Am I right, Kedzie? Am I missing that? Oh, it's 10%. Let me just go through this again. So on your first level, before you become a director, you're earning either 8 or 10%. On your second level, you're earning 7, and on your third level, you're earning 5%. When you become a manager, that's when the leadership bonus begins to click in. So when over here you see this director, when you're director, they add another 3% to all of your volume creating when you're a director. So that's what we call the leadership bonus. And that bonus goes up 1% every level that you go up in the compensation plan. So it's 3% at director, it's 4 at senior, 5 at executive, 6 at presidential director, and it goes up to 7 at, I believe it's a 1-star or 2-star. So that's how that works. So that's why getting to director is so important. And you begin to earn this 3% down below your first 3 levels. So it's really important to open up the compensation plan and to start to reap the rewards of building an organization. This really wasn't the slide that really helps with that. We have another program about the comp plan. There's a video I did that talks a little bit more about that. So hopefully that was helpful. Okay, so let's continue on with the building blocks. Now, we were talking about, this whole program is about how to create a 60K income. And so as you look at the estimated rank incomes, you kind of get an idea where you have to go to. So to create a 60K income, I believe it's $5,000 a month, 5,000 times 12, 60K. And so in our compensation plan, you're going to you're going to have to be at least an executive director, and it's going to be a pretty mature executive director, somebody who has a pretty big organization to reach that $5,000 a month range, or a presidential director with probably kind of a medium growth presidential director organization. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this is executive director using our building blocks. And so here you can see, as an executive director, you're required to have 2 directors, 2 qualified directors in your first 4 levels. And so the way I show this here is that there's 2 directors. They show on the first level, but they may not be on the first level. But there's 2 qualified directors. There's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legs, 7 qualified legs. And when you do that, and you have $30,000 in volume, and you're on automatic reorder, then you are a qualified executive director. But notice again, it's the building blocks, it's the managers, and it's the director that create the executive director. So 2 directors, you become an executive director when you do 30,000 in volume. Requalification, it's the same. Requalification is going to be 2 directors and $30,000 in volume. So every time you recreate that, you're a qualified director. Anything else on this, Kedzie, I'm missing?
Nope, this isn't the one that you could have 3 directors instead of the managers. Okay, that's the presidential.
Right.
Okay.
So just 2 directors, that's all. And you can see again why creating directors is important, why reaching directors is important, why promoting directors, getting there is important, because this really is the foundation of not only executive director, but really the future growth of your business, and helping directors below you, helping people reach director. Because once someone gets to director, they're usually going to be with you for a long, long time, because they're making a fairly good part-time income, and it's very likely they'd be on the CAR program. Okay, so now the next building block is presidential director. And so this is what a presidential organization might look like. Now, there's going to be a lot more blue circles all over the place. Kind of like the picture that I showed you earlier of senior director, but multiply that by about 10. So you're going to have a lot of blue circles, a lot of managers in your organization. But to qualify at presidential director, there's actually 2 ways to do it. And remember, we're looking at this because we're talking about reaching 60K. So presidential director is you at the top, and then 3 qualified directors. So they make another qualification of adding another director to your organization. And then when you have 3 qualified directors and you have a total of 6, you can see across here there's 6 legs, and you have a volume of $40,000 and you're on automatic reorder, then you are a qualified presidential director.
John, just to understand it, because the compensation plan on the website says that the first qualification needs 9 managers.
That's correct. So this is an ongoing qualification, what you're looking at today. If I were to draw it out for your first time, you have to have 9 legs.
Okay.
So here I'm showing 6. To qualify, you have to have 9. Now that is really a stretch. That's really going after it. To have 9 qualified legs, that means you have probably been doing this for a while and you have some stability, and then once you make it, then they make the qualification, rather than lowering the volume to make it easier, they lower the number of qualified legs that you need to re-qualify, and that makes a huge difference, especially in the very beginning as you reach this level. And remember, as you're looking at this, I do depict these directors on the first level, but they could be anywhere in your first 4 levels. It could be someone on your 4th level who's reached director that can be that qualified person. And so the way I look at it this way, I know a lot of times we look at our organization and we, especially if you have people that are now below the 1st or 2nd or 3rd levels, and we think that we need to just focus on helping the people at the top near you. And the key idea is that you need to focus on those people in your organization that want to move forward to create an income. Even if they're at the 5th level or 6th level, I'll find someone way down there and I'll go help them create success, because I know eventually it's likely that some of the people in between are going to not do it. Life is going to happen and they may not qualify, and that person rolls up to be that important person in your organization. Kezzy, does that make sense to you, the way I'm saying that?
Yes, it does. I'm in that process right now.
And I know that when you're doing this, you're looking down and you're saying, oh my gosh, they're so far down there, they really don't benefit me. But really, they will benefit you. It's like you're looking at them and helping them to be successful for the future, for your future. Okay, so now there's one other way to qualify at presidential director. And this is with 2 senior directors. And so the way I show this is you have 2 senior directors. I show them on the 1st level, but they could be anywhere in the first 4 levels. So 2 senior directors, and of course, a whole bunch of managers. And when you have 2 qualified senior directors, and then you have 40,000 in volume, you're on automatic reorder, you can be a presidential director. And if you do this, it's likely pretty quickly you'd be at 60K a year, creating that $5,000 a month income. So this really is how you can create a 60K income. Now, if you're just starting out on day 1 in GIA, this may not make sense to you, and you may look at this and go, oh my gosh, that is so hard. Well, this is something that's going to happen over time. You're not going to get this in the first month. In fact, Karen reached this level in the first 9 months. And that was probably pretty close to a record that I know of. So putting your sights on presidential director, even though I put my sight on this in the first month, I think it still took me 6 months to get to presidential director, even though I wanted to do it in the first day. But just realize that this is not a sprint. GIA is a long-range program to help us to create a second income in the beginning and move towards creating a pretty special career that creates freedom in your life. And with that attitude, you can continue to move forward every single day. I think sometimes people come in and they want to make $5,000 or $10,000 in their first 3 months, and it just isn't going to happen. Any questions on the presidential director and qualify for that? Somebody's got their line open there. Okay, So I just put some key strategies here, and I kind of remember what I wrote here, but I'll just read them to you. Personal customer sales and recruiting strategy. Customers are the key to long-term growth. At the same time, be open to people who'd like to become GIA consultants and business builders. So the point here is just don't look for customers. Keep your mind open and keep looking for those people who want to create a second income, or maybe even look at this as a new career. And be open to showing them and telling them the whole story so that they know that's possible. You'd be surprised at how many people will be interested, even if they're just coming to you from a product point of view. Develop director legs. Search for leaders and help them reach director. Really key point. Although it only takes 3 directors to qualify at presidential director, it's a good practice to create more than 3. And the reason I say this is that if you only have the minimum, what happens when something happens and they decide not to qualify in a month? That's going to be pretty drastic, because that's going to drop you back down in the program. So you want to create a solid foundation of people who are creating directors. And then finally, promote rank advancement by developing a culture of customer and consultant growth and leadership development, which is exactly what we're doing here on our director school. We're really promoting leadership, we're promoting rank advancement, and we're helping people to move in the direction of achieving their dreams. Finally, the question that always comes up is, how long will it take? And there's just no way to answer that question. It will take however long it takes. But believe me, it's worth it. Sue Johnson, I don't know how many years she's been with GIA working on, getting to the different levels, director and senior director. It's likely she'll be executive director by the end of next month, and maybe even presidential director within the next few months. She's driving a GIA car. And I can tell you, all that she's done and all that she's become has been totally worth the effort, as she's created a part-time income, getting to where she's going to have freedom in her life. Any questions at all about this program? What time is it? Oh, not too far over. Does anybody feel like making at least 60K?
Yes.
I mean, can you imagine an extra $60,000 coming in? An extra, you kept your job and you made an extra $60,000 a year. That would be pretty cool.
So I just wanted to say that talking about this, we always have to, remember that there's so many skill sets that we need to practice, and it's all about practicing, right?
Well, the skill sets are important, and none of us are, I don't think any of us were born to be network marketers, to come in and we just know exactly what to do. I think some people come in with a lot of excitement and energy, and their excitement and energy in the beginning will fuel their growth, and they might go from 0 to director in a month or 2. But at some point, to build an organization, there are skills that you have to develop, and that's why director school is so important. And that plugging in and doing all the things. Dave talked about the weight loss in 60 days, but if he just wanted to do it and didn't have the skills to do it, meaning eating correctly, exercising, and doing all the right things, there's no way it would happen. So it's a combination of having the excitement, the vision of the future, and being excited about your future, getting product results, being able to share that with energy and excitement, and then plugging people into the things that we're talking about today and we've talked about throughout our director school. And if you do it, this is my total belief, if you can do that, your chances of success are astronomical compared to others who don't tune in like that. It's worth it. Karen?
I'm gonna put I think Kayleen's on here, and I'm gonna put her on the spot just for a second. Is Kayleen on here anymore? Yeah, she's still there. Just a tiny bit, and then she's gonna hate me for this, but
especially since I look like crap right now.
No, you don't have to be on the picture. Just what I wanted to do was just to have you say your most recent inspiration and following the steps. Just a little 2 sentences. That's all.
Okay, 2 sentences. That's tricky. So I just started talking to some people in a group that I've been in for a while. I posted a little video that said, hey, here's my experience with what happened when I put the cell phone guard on my phone. if you want to know more information, let me know. And I had about 15 to 20 people say, yeah, I want more information. So I messaged them on Facebook and I said, you know, what are you experiencing any of the symptoms that I mentioned? I just mentioned a couple little things. And some of them said yes, and some of them told me what they were, and some of them said no, I just want more information. So then I knew like which video to send them. And most of them, I sent them the bonus video from GIA Freedom, the 27-minute with Alfred, which was awesome. I love that video because it's so concise and gives them great info. And I've had a couple people contact me and say, okay, I'm ready for more info. I had one lady that I met at a booth back in April who I've been following up and sending her emails, and not like really annoying, but at least once a month since April. And she finally responded when I sent her this little video of myself just talking about the cell guard. And she said, okay, I want more info. And then I was able to get on a 3-way call with Karen, which I really appreciate Kedzie like teaching me the power of this. Because in my previous companies, I've never learned how powerful 3-way calls are. And I just sat there and I was quiet on this one because Kedzie taught me the right way to do it. And Karen just took it and just was telling her about her options and basically helped her to see that the manager pack would be the best option for her. And we're in the process of signing her up today, actually, as soon as this call is over. So I have another couple ladies who are like, yeah, I'm interested, but I can't do it till July. So contact me in like 2 weeks. I'm like, sweet. So anyway, thank you so much, all of you, for all the tools. Dagmar, the bonus video on giafreedom.com, it's down underneath the first 3 videos. It's the last video on there, I think. So.
Well, thanks for going on the spot. It's great to hear the whole story. I just kind of wanted to point out the comp plan is all about following the steps and learning to use the tools and following the steps. So thank you for organizing those thoughts for everybody. And it is exactly that. That's what we do, right, everybody?
That's really exciting, and I'm so pleased that's working out for you. And we're finding that sending the first video and the second video together has been pretty powerful also if you've had a conversation with people. But here's the most important piece, is what we're finding is that like right now you're using it, and when you sponsor someone and they want to do something, now they have a very simple way to get the information out. And so now we're seeing people signing up on the second level who, before their products even get here, are already introducing people through the video system. They are now beginning to join us. And when we can start to show people how they can duplicate, what I just showed you will be done over and over and over and over again. And that is when being a part of a network marketing becomes a lot of fun. And that's where I think we're going. So Karen, going to send it back to you.
Okay. This was an excellent call and informative for all of us. And since we're at 11:15, we're going to close the call. But I just wanted to add the thought of the day being perseverance. You've heard from Dave, and I think that it was so motivating to me. I love it because the whole signature of my business before I even joined GIA is raising the world's vibration to joy, one soul at a time. So when he started talking about vibration, that's my language. And so he caught me at the very beginning, like totally motivating and enthusiasm gendering for me. And then to hear from John and the 60K, that's $5,000 a month right? About 5,000. And that is a wonderful another stream of income, or for most people, you can live on $5,000 a month and generate it up from there. One of the things I wanted to share was about perseverance. And there are times in every single one of our lives when we have the peaks and we have the valleys. And I've watched Kayleen go through this. She's been in GIA for a year, and she's getting her first manager this morning. The three-way calls are powerful because you don't, sometimes when you're talking to your own friend or your own contact, you don't want them to think that you're trying to make money off of them, and we all struggle with that. But when I'm on a three-way call with someone, and I can start with, hey, this isn't what I did. This is what I wish I would have done. I wasn't planning on doing this as a business. I ordered a cell guard, for Pete's sake. I did the minimum at $250, but then I upgraded and I kept adding on the car harmonizer, the home harmonizer. And had I really realized that I was going to fall in love with this company and these products, I would have wished that I would have done 30% off and got the bigger package if at all possible, even if it need be on an easy pay program. So I start with the bigger package first, because then when you, if they say, oh, that's just out of my range, I can't do that. Then when you say, suggest $250, as you can waive the $49.95, $250 sounds a lot less, and they're happy to do that. Whereas if you start with a $250, for some people, if they haven't budgeted in $250, that's a little stretch. And so that's where I started with GIA, having no intention, no desire to do one more thing, no desire to do one more business. But I have to share and say that last night when we did Generation Zapped, I honestly was ready to just can the whole thing. We hadn't gotten one RSVP, and that little hint of discouragement can set in. And I thought, well, I'll just do it and we'll advertise it more. And at the last minute, a man called me, and he had actually been on Facebook. He had seen some things that I had posted, and his wife is tremendously EMF sensitive. She's got steel rods in her back, so this actually is attracting EMF. And so she is really suffering from EMF sensitivity. So he calls me, and his voice is so plaintive and petitioning. He's a professor at BYU in the music department. And so I was super excited because I'm a musician, super excited to talk to him. And then realized that in that last moment, thank you for that divine intervention. I did not send the text out that said, okay, for lack of interest, we are not going to have Generations Out. And we went, and 9 people came. And it was the perfect 9 people. One person who has been living with us in our home, who suffers extremely from EMF sensitivity, and who has found that the only place that he can heal is in our home because of the harmonized attributes that we have with the harmonizer. We've the car harmonizer he keeps in his pocket. He keeps the pendant on him at all times. He's drinking tons of eye water. He's now running up and down staircases faster and more. And he was able to share his testimony with this woman. She seemed to think that she had tried everything. And then her husband said, no, we haven't tried everything. And so when the meeting was over, as a last little bit, I shared about the Home Inspired Wellness Program and how you get a sign for your yard. And he was like, honey, we need to try this. We need to do the package deal. We need the whole thing. Now, had there been 30 people at that Generation Zapped, this couple would not have received the attention that they received. Everybody in the room, Julianne, Mark Harvey, the rest of some of the people in my team were there to then share and offer their testimonials so that this couple, who was the prime people that needed this program, were able to get the attention that they needed. What I learned from this experience is that we never should discount, even if only 9 people show up, even if only 8 people show up, because at one point, my daughter walked in making the 9, and I have been inviting her to Generation Zapped since I've been doing them since February of this year. And she leaned over and she said, Mom, I am so glad I came to this. There's no way that I was understanding. Yeah, I got the manager kit. There was no way that I was understanding why you're so passionate about this and why this is such a cause for you. To have my daughter finally get it, and to have her call me on the way home and have her be so excited. She has a huge clientele, in Alpine, Utah, where she goes to their homes, does expensive massage for an hour and a half, and she has had no understanding because your children sometimes are the last to embrace the things that you're passionate about. So Mom's on a mission. If we had not had that generation zapped last night, this woman whose husband was plaintive with me on the phone saying, oh, my wife is so sick. She's so sick. And I am looking for something to help her feel better. And when she was ready to discount it and say, oh, we've already tried everything. And he said, no, we haven't. We have not tried this. And we are going to try this. And we are going to give this a try, because you could feel the exasperation, the urgency, and the whole feel that he had. I need my wife to be helped, to have my daughter there, to have Mark Harvey there, who is a water expert, who is a Kangen water genius, for Pete's sake. And he was there and understanding why single file is better than microcluster. And so we were able to share in an after meeting with each person. And I can tell you that I am no more going to ever discount these smaller group settings and think that it's a success if 70 people show up. It's a success if 40 people show up. It is a success if one person shows up. The way I sat in Marcia Jarvis's living room with Carol Gutierrez, and she had noticed my fatigue, my gray pallor, my eyes at half mast. Here I am talking about raising the world's vibration to joy and being all excited with hardly any energy at all. And so my gratitude for the woman who took time for the one, and who sat with me, and who made me be the most important person in her world and in her life during that meeting. And so my urgency is to persevere through those times when those negative thoughts seep in, when you feel like, I'm just canceling the event. And Dave, truly, I have tingles and goosebumps because you have helped to raise that vibration back for me. And to realize that when we do feel discouraged, persevere. I went presidential so fast. It's like when you have a gastric bypass, which I did, and I lost weight so fast. And I could hardly get my body image to catch up with what had just happened. And I had lost 110 pounds, got to 128 so fast that my brain couldn't catch up with what had happened. And the same thing, I think, happened for me going presidential director so fast. I went so fast. Now I'm going back and saying, retrace your steps, girl. What did you do? What was the passion? How was it fun? What did you do? How did you share? And then remember the one. Remember the one that needs you, that needs your testimonial. I'm looking at Sandy Marchant because she's here, and I can see you, Sandy. And I keep feeling to tell you, remember the one. And if you don't remember who that is, or if somebody's not coming to your mind in this moment, pray to know who needs you, who needs your testimonial, who needs your taking the time to sit beside them with your iPad and your team building app that Kedzie and Carol shared with me, and Linda paved the way so that I could go purchase that and get that. And I just am so grateful, and I do have passion, and I do have a cause. And I know that every single one of you who come to director school do, but I just don't want you to get discouraged in the process of building. Because when you see someone like me that went in 9 months, that could be discouraging to some people. They could go, I didn't do that in 9 months. It doesn't matter. I know that as we take those step by step, I'm retracing my steps now. I'm starting really all over with the rest of you in retracing my steps, remembering the one, sharing the gift that I have to be passionate about GIA with those who need me and need my testimonial. And again, pray, because God is my upline and he's the one that directs the show. And I just feel like ideas and names will come to your mind of people who need you. So I just wanted to end with that. I want to share about the team building on a future call. Next week, we have Yadira scheduled to go over your back office, beautiful back office basics, so that you can understand how to use that back office. So that I'm not a techie person at all. I need someone to hold my hand and walk me through the back office. Yadira is going to do that for us next week on July 6th, 2 days after the 4th of July. So if you're out of town and traveling, you can watch that recording later. And my kudos to John. Thank you so much, John. I need this director school. I'm here because I need the rest of you to teach me the GIA basics and how to do it step by step, retrace steps, keep the fervor going, and build back up again. So Dave, loved it. Kedzie, thank you for your comments. Kayleen, it's a joy to be on those three-way calls. We've been doing, Kayleen and I have been doing three-way calls every night at 6 o'clock. And we get on those three-way calls and it's a joy to meet these people and to talk to them and share. So thanks everybody for being here today. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. It was so great. Fantastic.